Well, I love the word audacious. So how could I not be here? Audacious. I mean, we all have to be audacious. And in order to be audacious, we have to be fearless.
That's it.
Because
That's
otherwise,
exactly
I
it.
mean, right? In order to be bold, audacious, to really live the life our soul intended, we gotta have a little kick in the pants for fear, right? We have
That's
to
it.
say, gotta get past fear.
Welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by my man, Audley Stephenson, the Odd Man.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, where our goal is to empower you to live your best audacious life ever. Each week, we dive into conversation that inspire, motivate, and challenge you to step beyond your comfort zone and embrace the fullness of life. It's always a pleasure to be here and to share insights, and I genuinely appreciate you for taking time out of your day to join us on this journey of personal growth and transformation. Today, we'll explore the intricate role of fear in our lives, drawing on an analogy of a double-edged sword. Now, check this out. On one side of the sword, fear serves as a protective mechanism, safeguarding us from the genuine dangers that are out there, kind of like a guardian angel watching over us. However, on the other side, it can become like a prison, confining us and preventing us from pursuing our most audacious dreams. Just as a sword can be wielded to defend us, prevent us, or to harm rather, our relationship with fear can propel us towards growth or hold us back from living boldly. In this episode, we'll introduce the concept of core fear, an underlying apprehension that influences various facets of our lives. Recognizing these fears is essential, as they often manifest in our behaviors, leading to self-doubt and procrastination. Fear is a natural part of the neurobiology designed to keep us safe, but when misinterpreted, it can hinder our progress. Our guest today is Rhonda Britten. She's an expert in fearless living and will share valuable tools, including quizzes, to help you identify your fear symptoms and understand their root causes. Rhonda emphasizes the importance of gentle self-acceptance, encouraging you to be kind to yourself as you navigate these fears. I mean, after all, recognizing that fear is part of the human experience can shift our narrative from self-criticism to self-compassion. Rhonda is truly a pioneer in the field of fear life coaching, as well as a celebrated author. Since 1995, Rhonda has been transforming lives through her work as a fear life coach on television, with over 600 appearances under her belt and numerous appearances on shows like The Oprah Show. She has dedicated her life to helping individuals break through their barriers and live fearlessly. Rhonda's expertise in living has inspired countless people to confront their fears and embrace their authentic selves. And she's very relevant to this episode because of her deep understanding of fear and its impact on personal growth. She brings in valuable insights into how fear can be a barrier to living audaciously and offers practical tools for overcoming it. So now that we've got the table set and we're ready to go, let's turn to our conversation with Rhonda. Hey, Rhonda, thank you for joining me here today on the Audacious Living Podcast. I appreciate you for taking the time to be here, so thank you.
Well, I love the word audacious. So how could I not be here? Audacious. I mean, we all have to be audacious. And in order to be audacious, we have to be fearless.
That's it.
Because
That's exactly
otherwise,
it.
I mean, right? In order to be bold, audacious, to really live the life our soul intended, we gotta have a little kick in the pants for fear, right? We have to
That's it.
say, gotta get past fear.
Fearless living is your area of expertise, if you will.
It's my
You're a
jam.
coach helping individuals live more fiercely, and you're absolutely right. There's a direct correlation with audacious living, and the two work hand in hand. If you're afraid, then you can't live audaciously. But if you're fearless, you are living audaciously. And so I think it only makes sense to have you here. Perhaps as a starting point, Rhonda, if you could introduce yourselves to our audience or listeners
Oh my
looking.
God, you're gonna make
Uh,
me introduce myself?
yes, I am.
Oddly,
I
oh
am.
my God, I hate that. All right,
Yes.
I'll do it. Because I just hate to brag about myself, right? Like, who wants to talk about themselves? I'm here to talk about my work, but okay, I'll
Give it
do
a
it.
shot. Give it a
All
shot.
right.
Give it a shot.
I think I can do it. I think I
All
can
right,
do
let's
it.
go. Let's
I've
do it.
been changing lives since 1995. So yes, 30 years. I
Wonderful.
was the first life coach on television in the world. So I've done over 600 episodes of television. I've been on Oprah a few times. Been interviewed by many of the big names of TV and radio and podcasts. So I am just happy to change lives and bring my message to people who are seeking, let's say, seeking a breakthrough, right? Because that's really what fear does. Fear stops us from having breakthroughs. And when we have a breakthrough, fear stops us from actually keeping that breakthrough and living that breakthrough. Because a lot of us have insights and ahas, right? We have insights and ahas.
Yeah.
We're like, oh my God, that was such a brilliant, oh my God, I wish I want to remember that forever. And then we don't follow up on it and we don't live it. And that's that tricky fear thing. So fear has held me back for most of my life before I do what I do today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it holds way too many people back. And most people don't even know they have fear.
That's it. It's funny on your last point there. It's almost, it becomes where people go, well, I just don't do that, or that's not for me, or that's not the way I do it, or something. But it is fear based, right? And so I'm glad that you identified that it's something that it's very well, it could be there, but you're not knowing it's there.
Well, that's why I have a quiz for asking people, because people, I would say, and myself included, for most of my life, I never said I'm scared or I'm afraid. I just never said those words. So if you would have asked me at the height of my worst, my worst years of my life, when I was crawling through glass, and you would have said, "Are you afraid?" I'd been like, "No." Well, Rhonda, you're falling down drunk. Well, yeah, but I'm not afraid. Your life looks like it's falling apart. But yeah, but I'm not afraid. Right? I just didn't have any relation to the word fear because I grew up in a little tiny town, and I'm 100% Finnish, and we don't talk about feelings. So fear? What are you, crazy? And that's why I created this quiz. Okay. So I created a quiz just so everybody could test themselves. Can't tell you how many people in my life have told me, "Yeah, I'm not afraid. Rhonda, I don't have any fear." I'm like, good for you. But let's just double check.
Let's take the quiz anyways.
Yeah, let's just take the quiz anyway, just to check ourselves, just so you can say I passed with flying colors. Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead, and if you're listening or watching us right now, if you're able, shut your eyes so you can tell yourself the truth, and nod your head if you do any of these things or feel any of these things. So here goes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever deny yourself? Do you ever isolate? Do you ever pretend everything's okay when it's not? Do you ever hide out? Do you ever whine? Do you ever settle? Do you ever compare yourself with others? Do you ever secretly manipulate? Do you get defensive? How about judge? Do you ever complain? What about procrastinate? Worry? Do you wait and call it patience? Do you blame? Struggle? Do you ever get out of control and want to get in control? Do you ever deflect? Do you ever feel bitter? Do you ever feel powerless? What about dissatisfied, resentful, entitled? What about guilty and disappointed? Do you ever become a perfectionist? What about irresponsible or irritated, like you probably are with me right now? What about ignored, self-pitying, annoyed, or what about victimized? There's the quiz. So go ahead and open your eyes, and maybe you have a neck ache, so you need to go see a chiropractor with that. and Audley, I don't know. You willing to admit how many you had? Like what percentage?
I don't know the percentage, but there were a few in there for me that popped. I'm like, oh yeah, that sound. And again, but Ron, a big part of this, and you said it off the top, is really being honest with ourselves, right?
Yes.
We're not doing this any justice.
That's right. So you got to be honest with yourself. So whether I speak to a group of 1,000 people or 100 people or 10 people, when I give this quiz, most people have over 95%.
Wow.
And so these are what I call fear symptoms. So if you worry, there's a fear. If you procrastinate, there's a fear. If you people please, there's a fear. If you get overwhelmed, there's a fear, right? If you compare, there's a fear. If you judge, there's a fear. So most people look at these fear responses and just think they're character flaws. And those are the things I have to fix about them, right? I have to fix this. I have to fix that. I have to quit judging. I'm a horrible person. I got to fix this. I got to quit procrastinating. I got to get on my butt and get me going, right? I people please too much. I got to learn how to put boundaries up. And all of those things, while those are true, you do have to learn boundaries. You may have to kick yourself in the butt, all those things. We're seeing those as problems with who we are. We're seeing them as character flaws. We're seeing them as defects. We're seeing them as problems.
Right.
When really they're just symptoms of fear.
Mm. So I'm glad that you've gone through that because again, even myself, I wouldn't have attributed those things as being fears. I would have think of
That's
just
right. That's right.
things I do or things that I have done or things I've experienced, but not really dug in deeper to identify, no, this is actually a fear response, right? And
Hmm.
that needs to be examined, looked into. I'm
Yep.
sure I'm sure it's eye opening for a lot of people when you do that quiz.
It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing because whenever I give a keynote or train, again, if people aren't coming, like I'm going to see Rhonda Britten because I want to get fearless, but I just happen to be on this podcast or I happen to be on a TV show or I, happen to be wherever I am and somebody's like, oh, what's going on? Like I'll just check it out. Most of the time, we aren't honest with ourselves, not because we're purposely lying to ourselves. It's because culture doesn't talk about fear this way. We don't talk about it this way. We just talk about, oh my God, I'm such a procrastinator. And everybody else goes, oh yeah, me too. I'm procrastinating. Oh my God, I'm so scared. Right. Oh, I'm a people pleaser. I know, me too. Right. We kind of bond over our problems, right? We bond over what's wrong with us, right? But the challenge is we use those things against us. So we do not live the life our soul intended. So instead, I want to bring it to the surface, and that's why I give this quiz,
Hmm.
so people can actually even identify that there is fear in their lives. Because again, most people are like, I'm not afraid, I'm not scared. But if you're having any of the symptoms, there is a fear under there, and it's
Gotcha.
part of your neurobiology. And unless you look at the fear itself and shift the fear itself, you'll just keep having fear responses.
Continually and continually. And again, um, if you're not even knowing what those fear responses are, you're not even, it's almost you're living in denial. I'm not fearing anything. I'm fearful.
Oh,
Nothing. Yeah.
absolutely. I
Not
mean,
me.
we all procrastinate. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But the challenge is what people don't understand, and I didn't understand for most of my life either. I mean, this was all shocking to me as well when I figured this out. Is that we all have a what I call a core fear, and that is our really underground trigger.
Okay.
The word triggers is coming out in the world today, so we all know like, oh, I was
Yep.
triggered by that.
Yep.
But we actually have one core trigger that really drives everything else.
Okay.
And so if I have this core fear, i.e., that trigger, that main trigger, that causes us unconsciously, because that's how our brain works, it's part of our neurobiology. It causes us to procrastinate or people please or doubt ourselves, etc. And what we're doing is we're focusing on the symptoms rather than the fear. But once you understand how this fear works, these actually go away without tons of effort because you see them for what they are instead of pushing against them and bringing down your self-esteem and self-worth, thinking there's something wrong with you because you're doing these things. I shouldn't worry so much, right? I shouldn't be overwhelmed. God, I wish I wasn't so overwhelmed, right? Instead of spending that time beating yourself up, putting yourself down, thinking there's something wrong with you, which of course lowers our self-esteem, lowers our self-worth, lowers our self-love, etc. We can just bypass all that and go, oh, you mean I'm just afraid? Yeah. And by the way, it's part of your neurobiology. You're not purposely being afraid. You're not sitting there trying to make yourself afraid.
Hmm.
Those things come up only when we're living in the unknown, when we're even contemplating the unknown, when
Yes.
we're contemplating taking what I call a stretch, risk, or die. You don't have
Gotcha.
to be doing it. You can just be talking about it and not
Hmm.
even being aware of it, right? Not even being aware of it or seeing somebody else do it. It causes it in you, right? So fear, I always define freedom. I'll just use the word freedom instead.
Okay.
Freedom equals our capacity to live in the unknown. So the more you can live in the unknown, the more free you are. If you have to know,
Right.
you aren't free.
Understood. So interesting. Fear on its own isn't
Mhm.
entirely a bad thing,
No, of course not. Fear is
right?
just a neurobiology, part of our neurobiology. It's part of who we are. And it has one job and one job only, to keep us safe. The problem, oddly, is this: fear doesn't know the difference between our brain body, doesn't know the difference between physical fear and emotional fear.
Okay.
So physical fear, yes, we want our fear to come up and our instincts to kick in and run from that snake or that poisonous scorpion. Yes, we want to do that.
Yes.
The challenge is our emotional fears are under the radar and we think they're different from physical fears, but they're not. The body and brain think they're exactly the same. So
Hmm.
if you're about to step into the unknown, your body and brain thinks it's that scorpion, right? And so it thinks it's that snake. It thinks it's that, like, there's something bad's going to happen. Something
Sure.
wrong's going to happen. And I won't be able to keep Audley safe. I won't be able to keep him alive. Because again, an emotional fear is just equal to death as that scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
So it will do everything it can to distract you in order to get you to stop doing that crazy thing you're thinking about.
Yes.
Writing that book, starting this podcast. Who do you think you are? That's crazy talk. Something bad might happen, right?
Right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. The other interesting thing about fear is we sometimes are managing or navigating fears that aren't our own,
for sure,
that come from elsewhere, well-intentioned. Maybe our parents love us, or someone else that has the best for us. Maybe it's their own fears that we're living with, that we've adopted, and those are no different than our fears. Like we treat them like their own.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, you're talking about something really important, because how the core fear is developed. By the way, it's created by the time you're 7.
Okay.
And so it's there, it's with you, it's going to be your buddy for life. And not only does it come from the things you're talking about, which is life experiences, etc. They've also proven now that that fear can be handed down through our DNA.
Wow.
So you may not even know why you have a fear of rejection, right? Mm-hmm. Or a fear of strangers. You don't even know why you have, a fear of A, B, or C, right? And this is where we spend a lot of quote unquote wasted time, which is we're trying to figure out why we're like this. Why am I like this? Why? You know what? You're like this. You know why? Because you have a core fear, because you have a wheel of fear. It's called the wheel of fear in the world of fearless living. And once you can identify your wheel of fear, your life, the number one thing, I just taught a weekend about how to identify your wheels. And what people say all the time is, my life makes sense now. I understand why I went to college, why I didn't go to college, why I got married, why I got divorced, why I gave up on that dream, why I started this other thing, right? It just, you start seeing it clearly. And again, I get the why, but this is my view. Do we have things to heal in the past? Of course we do. But my view is this: if you are moving your life forward, if there's something to heal, trust me, it'll come up to visit you. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go looking for it.
And why does it surface so easily? Why does it surface so easily? Or you have that thing to heal?
Well, because let's say that you're, let's just use an example. Like, let's say that you, I'm just gonna make something up here, because I've never been asked that question. Let's say that you are in a big snow jacket, right? Big snow jacket. And you're not even aware of that fear, or you're not even remember what happened in the past. And now all of a sudden you need to take that ski jacket off because you want to go in the chalet and go get some warmth. Yes. Well, the minute you take off that jacket, a cold breeze comes up and goes, wait a minute, this feels familiar. Something bad happened here, or something I don't want to remember, right? So it's in that sense of freedom that things come up. I'll give you a really great example. I had a horrible thing happen to me when I was younger. I'm happy to share it in just a minute, but it had to do with guns. And I was dating this man who had a lot of guns, and I was afraid of guns. And one Valentine's Day, he's like, we're going to get you comfortable with guns, right? And I'm like, right?
Okay.
So he did something really amazing. I'll thank him for the rest of my life. So I broke up with him and I didn't marry him, but I love him for it. So we got on his bed and he put me between him, and he started picking up his rifles and guns and had me touch them, and he held me the whole time. Well, while we were touching and he was talking me through guns and all the things about guns, I had a spontaneous memory pop up that changed my whole opinion of the worst day of my life and freed me from guilt that I'd carried for over 30 years. So it's like those moments live inside ourselves, right? We carry memories in ourselves.
Yes.
And so when we start opening ourselves up, opening our heart, opening our mind, opening our being, well, those little pockets of memories kind of pop up.
Yes.
Right? So that's the good thing. So like I said, nobody has to go looking for stuff. It's going to come. Right. It's going to come. If you want to get intimate with somebody, you want to become more intimate, trust me, all the reasons you've never been intimate and all the things you saw growing up are, not all of them, but many of them are going to come up in order for you to heal them.
And you got to be ready to deal with them in that moment.
But, and I don't even know if you have to be ready. You just, when it comes up, you have to say yes.
Okay.
You may not be ready
Right.
because it might be like, you might not even know it's happening, or if you know it's there. But when it pops up, you have to say yes. And you may not be ready, i.e. know what to do, but there's a lot of help out there.
There is, and I think the work that you've been doing the last 30 years is a testament to what kind of help that's there in changing lives. And I love the fact that you describe it as changing lives. And if I could ask, why do you think it's so transformative, the dealing with fear?
Because everybody thinks they have so many problems, right? Those fear symptoms, right? Well, I got to quit procrastinating. I got to quit. I got to better at boundaries. I judge too much. And we walk around with this burden of all the things we think are wrong with us. And if I just fix these things that are wrong with me, then I'll be able to do A, B, and C. Then I'll be able to D, E, and F, right? But I have so much worry, I have so much judgment, I have so much guilt, I have so much overwhelm that I can't do it, or I can only do it a little bit, or I have to get better first, right? We have all these reasons because of these symptoms.
Yeah.
Well, once you understand that they are actually birthed because of a fear, then it takes away all the shame. It takes away all the blame.
Yes.
It takes away all the right you have to beat yourself up, because these aren't about you. This isn't you sabotaging you. It's fear going, I got to keep him or her safe. I got to keep them safe, right? Because they don't know what's about to happen. They've never been in this situation before. And the way our brain and body works is that our neurobiology has us like, so imagine you have a problem in the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
The way we're automatically wired is if we have a problem in the present moment, we're actually going to look in the past automatically for a solution.
Yes.
And then we're going to try to apply that past solution to the present problem. And we're attempting to create a new future. So if we are not conscious and awake and aware and be willing to make different choices,
Yep.
then we are going to be repeating the same patterns over and over again. But this is the thing. Many people, the awareness to get more aware is scary because, again, they think all these things are their fault. They think there's something wrong with them. There's something, right. They blame themselves for them.
Right.
So to become aware for many people increases the blame and shame. Instead, when you understand it's birthed because of fear, it's not you, then being aware isn't as scary, right? You can kind of see those things and go, oh, that's not because I'm stupid or lazy, right? That's not happening because I don't have worth or value. That's not happening because I don't love myself. The whole conversation now in the world is like, oh, you're not worthy. You don't feel like you have worth, right? It's like, let's stop that conversation right now. It is not about that at all. You're afraid. Right, and you've now been told it's interpreted as worth. You have worth and value. And the only thing that's lying to you is fear.
Well, I think we have those conversations being had because people haven't recognized the fear responses. Like, so you've gone through a list of 20 things and they're not connecting those to fear.
That's right.
So they're going, well, yeah, what are you talking about? Like, again, just totally unaware, right? Totally unaware.
Yeah. I was aware, and I'm the only one that's talking about this. I created something called the Wheel of Fear and Wheel of Freedom to give people a chart, a map, so that they can chart their fear, so they can actually crack. I taught it this weekend, and one of the students said after she got her Wheel of Fear and Wheel of Freedom, she goes, "We've cracked the code on fear. You've cracked the code on fear." I said, "Yes, I've cracked the code on fear." So it doesn't become this. Like, oh my God, I have to face my fear. It doesn't become that. And I was getting interviewed the other day on another podcast, and the coach, she was a coach, and she was saying, oh yes, I worked with a client and we got her core fear, and it was not being good enough. And I hated to break it to her, but not being good enough is a generic version of your wheel of fear. Everybody has some version of not being good enough. Right. What I do is I help you personalize it. So it is actually your wheel of fear is going to be different than my wheel of fear. We're going to have different wheels of fear because you have a different life than I have. So when you have that personalized and unique wheel of fear, you see it so clearly and you go, when it's generic, you can't kind of get your hands around
Yes,
it,
yeah, yeah. No,
right?
it makes total sense. It makes total sense,
Yeah.
right? And if you
Yeah.
can't get your hand around, then you can't deal or address it or do anything about it.
Then you go around saying, I don't feel good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. It's like, no, 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 no. That's not true. I know it feels true, but let me show you another way to look at this.
Again, I think another reason why I think the conversation of fear is very fitting for this podcast is that fear stands in the way from being audacious. Fear stands in the way from living our best life ever. Fear stands in the way of taking that first step that could lead to a ripple effects of 4 or 5 other things that would benefit you. So fear constantly. In fact, so we've got we use what's called a BOLD framework. BOLD is the acronym. B stands for better than you were yesterday, which really is encouraging constant continuous improvement, growth.
Yes.
Yeah, you climbed that mountain yesterday. What are you gonna do tomorrow? Kind of concept.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
if fear is in the way, you're not climbing the mountain yesterday, nor are you doing it tomorrow. Like
Yeah.
you're just not doing it. You know, the O in the framework is outlast adversity. We all know challenges are going to come, things will be difficult. Again, if you're fearful, you're not standing up to, you're not thinking about outlast adversity. You're going the other direction, right? The L in the framework is live your truth, be true and authentic to yourself. Rhonda, you know as very well as I do. There are people that are walking who are afraid to be themselves for fear of.
Well, they think, but because they think their self is bad.
Right. That's
Right?
exactly it.
They think even though everyone says they're great, even though they're successful in life, even though
Yes.
they look happily married, I mean, everything looks good. In the dark of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, when they can't sleep, they're in bed going, what's wrong with me?
That's right.
Why can't I get this? I should be better than this. I'm smart. Why can't I figure this out? Why do I keep doing this? They are haunted by what they deem as their failures, right? So here you are living what appears to be your truth. You look like you are, but inside, you have something else birthing. There's something in there that wants to unleash. So, but you're sitting there going, but I'm smart. Why aren't I figuring this out? I've been successful before. I've been fearless before. Why can't I do it here?
Yes.
Well, because this is a different fear, sweetheart. This is the core fear. You're getting to the core fear. So if you've been handling fears your whole life, congratulations. But when you find yourself stopped and you're smart and you can do it and you've done it before, what the heck's going on? Well, then it's time to deal with the big one, because this is the thing that will always trap you, will always get you down, what I call the wheel of fear. And so it will always take you down. It will always cause confusion and will always cause you to question yourself.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And when you're not recognizing that core fear, to your point, the confusion for sure. I definitely see that. I think though, within all this, it's recognition of that fear. And I know, and you talk about making fear your friend, which I'd love to get you elaborate further on that.
But I want to hear the D. You didn't say the D yet.
Oh, I did not say the D. You're absolutely correct.
No, I want the D.
I will definitely give you the D. It's disrupt the norm, right? So breaking off that path. You think of whether it be the Edison brothers or the guys that flew the plane.
Wright brothers.
Yeah, I'm Edison and Thomas Edison light bulb. That's what I was confused.
And he was the same. He broke barriers too. He was.
That's right. Like all of those individuals saw what was going on and said, "But let me go over here because something's over here."
Yes.
Well, if you're afraid to stand out, if you're afraid to break free from others, then you're not going to do that. And so,
you also can't hear your intuition.
Right.
The Wright brothers, and Thomas Edison, and everybody who is a master inventor will say it's not like they sat there and go, what do I want to think about today? Let me think about like that bird.
Right. No.
Let me think of, right. No, intuition hit.
Yes.
An idea was given.
Yes.
Something spurred them. A nudge happened, and they were then bold enough to move forward.
Follow with it.
But most people, oddly, do not even hear their intuition because they've shut their hearing down, because listening to their intuition means they're going to get a nudge. And oh my God, if I get a nudge, I'm going to have to do something.
That's right.
Right. And it's like, well, so they keep themselves confused. They keep questioning. They keep wondering. They keep blaming. They keep shaming themselves. And then they go, why? I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. I don't know my purpose.
That's right.
It's like, well, I bet you do. I bet somewhere inside you do. It's just scaring the crapola out of you.
That's right. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. Is it's the answers are within, Rhonda. They
Yep,
absolutely are.
absolutely.
The answers are
Absolutely.
within, and so, but yeah, no, the fear in your befriending fear. What's that all about?
Well, once you understand that fear is, so I'm going to step back. Every emotion has a job. Okay.
Okay.
Everything we have, everything we experience has a job. And so fear has a job. And we all know what that job is. It's to keep us safe.
Hmm.
So if you know that fear's job is to keep you safe, just like a janitor's job is to sweep the floor and an accountant's job is to balance the books, it just has a job. And so it is going to warn you about, hey, wait a minute, you're thinking of stepping into the unknown. So once you understand that when you find yourself frozen, when you find yourself overwhelmed, when you find yourself procrastinating and perfectionist, when you find yourself, blaming, judging, shaming, etc., and you say to yourself, well, wait a minute, if I'm doing that, that means fear is up for me. Huh, wait a minute. This is just giving me a signal saying, hey, by the way, you're about to take what I call a stretch, risk, or die, and fear's coming up to warn you. But hey, if you understand how to get on your wheel of freedom, you don't have to be stopped. So instead of it being like that dreaded fear is taking me down, it's like, oh, fear is just telling me I'm about to do something big.
Right.
Because fear doesn't visit you if you're on the couch eating Doritos.
No,
It
no,
doesn't, it
no, no.
doesn't visit you. So if you're not having fear visit you, you are definitely not living big enough. You're
Right.
definitely not living big enough. So you want fear. You want to court fear. I say
Yeah.
court fear. Court fear, like, come on, let's do this. And again, what I call the stretch, risk, or die. It's like, are you willing to take those stretch, risk, and dies in life in order to move your life in the direction that you are dying to go?
Hmm. Hmm. I've always said that when fear arrives at your doorstep, what do you do with it? Right? What do you do with it? And if you embrace it and move forward, or you roll over and say, I'll sit in here, relax, and take it easy, or eat my Doritos on the couch, right? So the choice, ultimately, Ron, and the choice is always ours to make, right?
The most important thing the most important thing we do each and every day is make a decision, is make
Mm,
choices. So your choice, what I call the choice points of your
okay.
life, those are determining the next day and the rest of your life. So every day we make choices. And some days we're too tired to make the brave choice. I get it.
Mm,
Okay, sure. So there are going to be times that the brave choice just feels out of reach. The good news is in that moment, you go, okay, but I see the brave choice. I see the brave choice. And you know what? I'm going to get some rest and I'm going to eat some protein and I'm going to go drink some
mm,
water and I'm going to get some more support people around me. And then I'm going to face it again. Then I'm going to step up again. So it's not about, a fear comes up or a dream comes up and you might run into the burning house, so to speak, right? Instead, it might be like, okay, wait a minute. I need support here. So I got to get a friend. I got to get a buddy. I got to sleep better before I take this on. And then if you sleep better and you get a buddy and you still don't do it after 3 days, a week, 5 weeks, whatever,
mhm.
then, right, then we're like, now you're tricking yourself. Now you're BSing yourself.
Gotcha.
But this is the thing, it's about ultimately in the world of fearless living, it's about being gentle with yourself
Mm,
because fear is tough enough. It is cruel enough. It is going to put you down enough to get you to stop. So the more gentle and kind you are to yourself in your quest for fearlessness, the more authentic that fearlessness will be. Because it's not about just seeing a mountain and going up it just because, right? We want to be like, okay, there's the mountain I want to climb. All right, now get my provisions, get some rest, and maybe develop a map, maybe not, depending on what it is, but be kind to yourself and recognize that on that mountain, and this, we all know this, that there's going to be 5 places that you want to stop, 20 places that you want to stop.
yep.
And so when you come up against those places while you're climbing the mountain that you want to stop, instead of wasting your precious energy beating yourself up, like, why aren't I going forward? What's my problem?
Yeah.
Instead, when you're kind to yourself and go, wow, look at all I've done, I'm amazing. And I'm at a place where I need to regroup or I need to get clarity again, or I need to, just take a breath. you will then have that impetus to keep moving forward. So many people move forward when they're inspired, right? When they're passionate, why
Yep.
we're here, right? We want them,
Yep.
we want to inspire them. We want to motivate them. We want
Sure.
to move them in passion, right? But that passion only lasts so long.
That's
And,
right.
and so then you go, oh crap, what am I going to do now? I said, I'm going to get on the boat and cross the ocean. And now I'm 2 days out and I can't hear anybody and I don't feel inspired. I don't feel passion. Right. Well, that's when we have to remember what
Passion's
we're really
wing.
about. Right.
Yeah.
We have to remember what our life is committed to.
Yeah.
But
That's
again,
right.
even then in our boredom, fear comes up. Right.
Mm.
And tells us we don't want to do this. This is stupid. This is whatever. But you and I both know that if it's calling you, you're meant to do it. So to stay fearless in the boredom, to stay fearless in the failures, to stay fearless while we're resting, to stay fearless being kind and generous to ourselves and gentle with ourselves, that is the brave choice. Because then you'll have the wherewithal, you'll have the courage, and you will not have built on shame or disempowerment or blame, putting yourself down, beating yourself up, which drains your energy. Beating yourself up is not a motivator that everybody thinks it is.
No,
Because
it's
right,
not.
I have so many clients who are like, but I can't quit beating myself up. It's how I get better. I go, really? How is that for you? How's that self-esteem working? You have higher
No,
self-esteem beating yourself
no,
up?
no,
Don't think so.
no, no.
Yeah.
No. Like for me, I'm always big on like that positive self talk. And what are you saying to yourself? What do you think about yourself? How do you describe yourself? How do you see yourself? And beating yourself up is not the answer. That's not going to get you. It's like two negatives aren't going to be a positive. It's not going to lead you to a positive place. And so, I wanted to get a definition from you what fearless living or living fearlessly is.
Yeah. Well, fearless living is not about jumping out of a plane.
Right.
It's about fully jumping into life. It's being willing to listen to that nudge within and then follow it. Right. It's kind of the old adage, throw the hat over the wall and you have to go get it. So when you hear that nudge, imagine that's a hat and you throw it over and go, okay, I got the nudge.
Yep.
I got the intuition. I got the notice, like do this, do that. It's very direct. It tells you exactly usually what to do or where to go or what to say or who to meet, etc. And, are you willing to do what it directs you to? Because I know this, this, so many of us know it, but we're scared to do it, is that your life is literally your soul's intention. My goal is live the life your soul intended. When you follow that nudge, you are living the life your soul intended. And more importantly, you're living the truth. You're living your truth.
Yes, that's exactly, and that's exactly it. Again, the audacious framework is all around that living the life that you were intended to. That was like So I oftentimes describe it like a path. We're all on our individual path, and that path is obstacles, the pitfalls, the challenge, what have you. It's our job to get over, under, through, whatever, to the other side of that, because that's where the greatness lies. That was intended for us because it's on our path. But if that boulder is there or that obstacle is there that we're too afraid to deal with and run the other way, we're not living our lives to its fullest. And that's
and the greatness happens while you're crawling on the glass. That's right. Your greatness.
Yeah.
Right. If you choose to crawl through the glass, getting over, under, that is where your greatness lies. Yes. Right. All the goodies are on the other side. But your greatness is every time you're willing to crawl through glass to move through that fear to actually do what you're called to do. So, every hero, as we know, when they're doing the most heroic thing, the thing that we're like, you're amazing, they don't think they're a hero. They're just like, oh my God, they're probably scared of bejeebers and they're doing it anyway. Right.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
It's the crawling through glass that makes you a hero. It's not getting the goodies at the end.
Yes. Do it anyways. I love it. That'll be the phrase that pays. Rhonda, thank you so much. It's been great to have you here. For our listeners that wanted to learn more about you, get a copy of your book. The book again. Hold that title up there.
Fearless living. Fearless living. There it is. Fearless living. Go to fearlessliving.org. Fearlessliving.org. And I have a free gift for everyone so they can start on those stretch, risk, and dies and start breaking those barriers and getting unstuck. Go to fearlessliving.org /risk, RISK, fearlessliving.org /risk, RISK. And you're going to put your name and email in. You're going to get access to my platform, and you're going to get access to my course on how to cure procrastination, how to break those barriers. It's called Stretch, Risk, or Die. And this is my clients and students' very favorite, actually one of their very favorite exercises. It's only 3 15-minute videos, super easy. And at the end of the last video, exciting, I actually lay out the wheel of fear. So you can actually see the wheel of fear in motion and see like, okay, well, that's the wheel of fear. Okay, I get it. So it has exercises, it has templates, it has a workbook, it has everything you need in order to move forward towards your dreams. And it's going to share with you how to move forward and what's been stopping you.
Beautiful. I love that second word, what's been stopping you, right? And the how we all know, because you can move forward again, but if you don't address what's been stopping you, you'll be back to square one again because you haven't figured out.
Well, yeah. So I have a client, Bill, he became one of my coaches, and he said he belonged to this organization that said to do something scary every day. Okay. So he did something scary every day, and he was just afraid, right? He didn't integrate it. He didn't embody it because he didn't have the whole process that I teach in Stretch, Risk, and Die. Once he started doing the other components that must happen to help you integrate, it changed his life. Gotcha. It changed his life. And he said, I was in that group for 2 years just doing scary things, and all I did was be overwhelmed and anxious all the time. And now I've integrated that freedom. I've integrated those fearless steps, and now I can. And he's amazing. He's an amazing human being. He started becoming a speaker when he was in his early 70s.
Wow.
He started training. I think now he's been a coach for me for 20 years. I think 20 years. No, 23 years, 24 years. And he now is 80, and he's still coaching and training, mentoring.
I love it.
Right? And he started on this journey in his late 50s, early 60s.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's never too late. That's proof right there.
It is never too late.
Well, Rhonda, this has been phenomenal. It really, really has. A delightful conversation. I really appreciate the time. I love the passion around changing lives, as you said off the top, and transforming people for the better. And so it's amazing. Appreciate your work. And thank you for being a guest on the Audacious Living Podcast.
Oh, my pleasure. And everybody listening right now, take this into your heart and bones. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just fear. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just fear. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just fear.
Take that, fear. All right. Back, we are here on the podcast. One of the central themes from my conversation with Rhonda was the idea that fear is not our enemy, but rather a natural part of our neurobiology. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by fear, to let it, dictate our choices and hold us back from pursuing our passions. However, as Rhonda pointed out, understanding our fear responses and recognizing that it's simply a protective mechanism can transform what our relationship with it looks like. What I personally loved about this interview was Rhonda's emphasis on gentle acceptance, self-acceptance. Her approach encouraged us to be kind to ourselves while we confront our fears rather than beating ourselves up for feeling afraid. This compassionate perspective is crucial for anyone looking to step into their audacious life, as it fosters resilience and allows for growth without the weight of shame. If you want to connect with Rhonda directly, you can certainly contact her. Her contact details are in the show notes below, and I'd encourage you to reach out and explore what she does further. It really is eye-opening. Additionally, Rhonda is offering a special gift for our listeners. You can access her free course on how to cure procrastination and break through fear barriers by visiting fearlessliving.org/risk. This course is designed to help you understand your wheel of fear and provide practical exercises to move forward toward your dreams. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for tuning into another episode of the Audacious Living Podcast. I hope you found inspiration, actionable insights in our conversation with Rhonda. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to like, follow, subscribe, or share if you haven't already done so with others who might benefit from living their most audacious lives. Of course, your support helps us grow and continue to bring us helps bring valuable content. So until next time, remember to embrace your fears, be kind to yourself, and live audaciously.
You've been listening to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by Audley Stephenson. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be audacious.